And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hi there, Carson Meredith with you on this Sunday evening, April 13th. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend. We can all be thankful it was a nice, quiet weekend at long last. I, for one, am very grateful that we had a nice, quiet weekend because, well, I needed one. But we do have storms to talk about for tomorrow. Still have that alert day in place. I'm a little worried about some trends I'm seeing with looking at the high resolution data this afternoon. I'm going to explain what I'm a little worried about, and then we'll walk you through that setup for tomorrow. And we'll look ahead to an unsettled outlook for Easter weekend and beyond. Not necessarily a severe weather outlook, potentially, but at least unsettled. I don't think we'll have a totally dry weekend next weekend. So without further ado, let's get you outside. Nice sunset getting underway. Still a decent bit of cloud cover as we expected. It would kind of be that mixture of sun and clouds today. And sure enough, that's been the case. So there's been times where we've had more clouds than sun. There's been times we've had more sun than clouds. But all in all, not too bad. 71, our current temperature here in Louisville. Very, very nice day. A breezy day too. That southerly wind was a huge reason why. In fact, the main reason why we were quite a bit warmer today, despite that cloud cover. Now, that breeze is going to be with us throughout the night tonight. So you're not going to notice much of a cool down late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Make sure the AC is running the house tonight. But all in all, not too bad. The dew points are very, very low, very dry air in place. So it's not all that humid. All in all, a really nice April Sunday to get outside and enjoy. All right, comment time. Over 300 or almost 300 of you watching on our social media platforms. So we appreciate that. Shonda always watching. Anita always watching. You're welcome for the nice, beautiful day. I will always take the credit when I can. But I am just the messenger after all. Eli says hello from Crestwood. Yes, it was beautiful today. Nancy says, please no rain on Thursday. Thursday looks mostly dry. Might be a few showers, but Thursday is definitely not a washout, Nancy. Angela says hi. DJ King says hello from North Vernon. Dale says, does this tie glow in the dark? No, but it could, couldn't it? I mean, as bright yellow as it is, there's a studio light that's shining right on it. So if it looks insanely bright, I apologize for that. Just had to have the spring feel, right? Mamie says she did not want to hear about Easter weekend. Well, it's not a total washout just yet, but it does look like there will be some showers and storms to dodge for Easter weekend, Saturday especially. Let's see. Destiny, glad to see you. Likewise, good to see you here. Appreciate you watching. Gary says it's too early for the AC, maybe mid-July. Well, I've already missed that mark, Gary. I've had the AC on a couple of times. Not all the time, but once or twice when we had those days in the 80s earlier this year. All right, let's talk about the rivers because thankfully, the water levels continue to go down. The Ohio River here in Louisville is now back below flood stage. So the flooding is over for the most part. Now it's just the cleanup, all the debris, the driftwood, the sludge. It's sludge. I mean, it's mud and all kinds of other minerals and sediments that just got compacted like a cake all over downtown and really any area near a waterway. So now we got to clean that mess up. But I'll show you the upper gauge of the McAlpin for good measure. And you notice the water levels continue to drop. The Ohio is still going to be a little bit higher than normal for quite some time, really. But we're back below flood stage, and we can all be thankful for that. As far as when the roads around the metro will reopen, like River Road especially, it really comes down to how quickly they can get that sludge cleared off the roads to make it drivable. So I genuinely have no idea when those roads will reopen. I'm hopeful early this week, but again, it just comes down to how easily and how quickly they can clean up that mess that's been left behind. We still have a couple of rivers that are in flood stage at this hour, one of which is the East Fork of the White up in Lawrence County, Indiana. If you live up near Bedford, still in minor flood. It's going to take a while, a couple more days for it to get back below flood stage, probably sometime Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see the East Fork of the White finally get back in its banks. And the Ohio River further downstream in Perry County, near the Candleton Lock and near Tell City, is still dealing with moderate flooding tonight. But likewise, that too will go back below flood stage probably on Tuesday. Maybe late tomorrow night, but more than likely on Tuesday. Otherwise, most of our rivers are back close to where they should be, thankfully. I'll mention Rough River one more time. It has gone just barely below flood stage, a little bit ahead of schedule, but you see that water still going to be running quite high on Rough River for a while. But in general, the flooding for now is behind us, and the cleanup really takes full control. Here's the big picture, what's happening in the skies tonight. You can see this warm front. This map with all the fronts, it's a computer map. It's automatically generated. We don't draw those fronts where they are. So the front's probably more so right in here tonight, where you see some of those showers across southern Wisconsin, down into Michigan and Ohio. We did have a few sprinkles earlier this morning. A few. Not totally surprising, but that dry air, like we talked about, really kept all of us dry. Instead, we just had the clouds. So this warm front will continue to lift to the east and northeast tonight. Here's our cold front that's going to give us trouble tomorrow. Not huge trouble, but we need to pay attention tomorrow afternoon for a few of those stronger storms. And that's really our main focus in the short term, is that risk for strong storms here in less than 24 hours or so. Tonight's fine, partly cloudy. Some clouds will still hold on. That, combined with the breeze out of the south and southwest, keeps it incredibly mild overnight tonight. You do not have to worry about frost at all overnight tonight. 59 is our low temperature forecast here in Louisville. A lot of you will be in that 57, 58 degree range. I can't rule out here in the city possibly staying in the 60s. Depends on if we get any breaks in the clouds, potentially. But most of us will wind up in the upper 50s when you wake up Monday morning. And we start things off quiet tomorrow before that alert day kicks in. And quite honestly, when we're looking at the big picture forecast here, there's not a ton of changes. The timing remains the same, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Cold front will be moving through at a decent speed, but there's still that risk for a narrow band of storms to develop. The change tonight, today, whatever you want to call it, is I've noticed a little more instability in the atmosphere, more storm fuel, looking at some of the forecast models tomorrow afternoon. The more instability we have in place, the more likely we're going to see at least some strong storms. But remember what we also talked about last night. There's going to be a cap of warm air above our heads in the atmosphere. The question now becomes, and still is the question, has been all weekend, will that cap break? Can we get air parcels to break through that cap and set off thunderstorms. If we can, we're going to have a few severe thunderstorm warnings tomorrow afternoon. If that cap holds on, we keep that warmer air above our heads, we're just going to have a few showers to deal with. This is not a huge severe weather threat. A lot of you won't even see much rain tomorrow. But it's a threat that bears watching because these storms could get going quickly. They could get potent quickly in that unstable environment tomorrow afternoon. So 2 to 8 p.m., threats are still wind and hail. Flooding is not expected. There will be some brief heavy rain, yes, but there's not a significant flooding issue because these storms will be moving quickly. And we can be thankful for that. The tornado threat is next to nothing. I mean, it's 1% chance, if that. There's not a lot of spin in the atmosphere tomorrow. So here's the storm chances. And again, it's a very narrow window. 2 p.m., potentially as early as 2 p.m., and then as late as 8 p.m. for severe storms. 6-hour window. It's only a 40% chance for storms at any given point. So it's not a full-on, gigantic line of severe storms. It's likely going to be a broken line of scattered storms. Just kind of one storm, one storm, one storm, one storm, connect the dots, and it's a line. And any of those storms could pack a little bit of a punch. All right? Let me catch up on the comments because a lot of you guys are watching tonight. Let's see. Vanessa says, please no more rain. Well, we've got the storms tomorrow, but again, I'm not overly concerned about flooding, which is good. Susan's watching us over in Frankfort, obviously cleaning up after that horrible flooding along the Kentucky River. We're thinking of you all, Susan, over there in the state capitol. Shane says hello from Hardinsburg. Bonnie watching us in Frankfort too. Lori's in J-Town. Shonda likes the tie. Thank you. I like the tie as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't wear it, right? Let's see. Hey, we got a spammer. Nice. Let's see here. Candace says hello. Judy enjoyed the beautiful day today. Sean was in Gatlinburg this weekend. I'm jealous of you, Sean. I am jealous. I'm sure it was great weather down there. Kathy says hi. Van says, when do storms start? They could start as early as 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That does not mean it is absolutely going to start storming at your house at 2 p.m. That just means we will likely start to see storms developing in our area as early as 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. Let's see here. All right. Pause on the questions. I'll come back in a minute. Here's Futurecast for tomorrow for this alert day. Now you look at it. You look at it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, according to this forecast model, and you say, why on earth did you guys make this an alert day? Fair, okay? Here's the thing. The storm fuel has gone up for tomorrow afternoon. In fact, some forecast models have doubled the amount of storm fuel that we could have, which is not a good thing. But it still comes down to whether or not that warm air above our heads can hold on. If that cap can hold on, keep a lid on those storms, right? If that cap breaks, the lid opens, storms develop. And if that happens, with all the storm fuel we might have, those storms could get potent pretty quickly. So we go from 4 o'clock in the afternoon with just a few showers to 6 p.m. And we've got thunderstorms along that narrow line just ahead of the cold front. Notice how that line is broken. You got one storm here, one storm here, one storm here. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a solid squall line, a solid QLCS. That's the fancy name for a squall line. It's not a solid line of severe storms. It'll likely be embedded thunderstorms where you connect the dots and make a line, okay? And any of those storms could have damaging wind, 50, 60 mile per hour gusts, and perhaps some hail as well. This is not a huge tornado threat, like I mentioned a moment ago. This really, more than anything, would be the kind of situation where you have severe thunderstorm warnings. Still need to take those seriously, but there's not a major tornado threat at all tomorrow afternoon. And the area that I'm most focused on for severe storms tomorrow afternoon is going to be in our Kentucky counties. Let me redraw that circle, actually. So let's say from Louisville to Brandenburg to Hardinsburg, point south. So kind of this part of wave country. That's where I think we'll have the greatest risk for strong to severe storms. So Hardinsburg, Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown, maybe around Taylorsville if these storms can get going quickly. Lebanon, Campbellsville, Mumfordville, Greensburg, Columbia. If you live in that yellow square circle that I tried to draw, that's where we'll have to watch for those stronger storms, I think. Southern Indiana, could you get some thunder tomorrow? Yes. But I really think the severe weather threat is more confined to Kentucky in particular, okay? And again, this is a quick moving front. So just as quickly as we start to have storms fire up, most of the storms will either push south or weaken by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. And then our severe weather threat will quickly wind down. Could still have a few showers south of the Kentucky parkways tomorrow night. After 8 o'clock, though, the severe weather threat is done. So narrow window for severe storms. Not a huge severe weather threat, but it bears watching tomorrow afternoon, especially if you live south of Louisville. Let's see here. Angela says, I'm tired of turning the heat off, the AC on, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, it's that time of year, unfortunately, where we got to go back and forth between one or the other. Austin says, any extreme severe weather or extreme flooding events? I don't see it for us, but I do think there will be more showers and storms around, not just for next weekend, but likely into the following week. It's going to be unsettled again. Does that mean constant rain? No. Does that mean extreme severe weather? No. It's just going to have those scattered shower and storm chances each day, unfortunately. In other words, it's not going to be as bad as what we saw 2 weeks ago now, which is good. Justin likes the tie. Perfect color for the day. Yeah, that was kind of my mindset when I picked it out. So I appreciate it, Justin. Thanks. Let's see. Crispy on YouTube. Crispy Brisket. I love that name. Got to pick up somebody from the Indy airport Saturday around 5. How bad is the threat looking Saturday up north? Well, the severe weather threat as a whole on Saturday isn't too high anywhere right now, which is good. Could there be some heavy thunderstorms up in Indy? Yes, that's possible on Saturday, but I think the higher rain and storm chances at this point are actually here in our area compared to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is going to have more issues on Friday. We'll have more storm issues on Saturday. So check back often for updates, of course, in the week ahead, my friend. Appreciate the question. Rick, thank you for the kind words. We appreciate it. Kathy's asking about storms up in Lawrence, Orange, Jackson counties in southern Indiana. There's a small chance for a few storms in that part of the world tomorrow afternoon, Kathy, but I really think the severe threat is going to be in Kentucky tomorrow afternoon, based on how quickly the front's going to be moving through and when we see that cap of warm air break and allow those storms to develop. I think that best potential is going to be in the bluegrass instead of southern Indiana. Let's see. Oh no, Lauren says, please no more hail. Just got my car back from the last time. Oh man, Lauren, I'm sorry to hear that. That's awful. When it comes to the hail potential tomorrow, I think we're looking at quarter size to maybe ping pong ball size. Yes, that is an official comparison when you look at hail. So an inch to maybe an inch and a half in diameter. I think that's the kind of hail we might be looking at on Monday. Not necessarily those baseballs or softballs. I don't expect that at this point. Mary says, I know it's April showers bring May flowers, but the flowers are screaming no more rain. I bet. Well, unfortunately, we do have more rain to talk about once we get past this system tomorrow. When you look at the long term, it's Easter weekend when things get a little unsettled again. So what you're going to have happen, let me actually back up Futurecast here for a minute. All right, this is Friday afternoon. Friday looks mostly dry, maybe a few isolated showers because it'll be quite warm with a high near 80. It'll also be windy on Friday. So windy and warm, perhaps a few isolated downpours, but I think a lot of us stay dry on Friday, to be honest with you. Now, up to the north, okay, see all that rain up near Chicago at the top of the screen? That's a front. That's our next front once we get past tomorrow. That front's going to be hung up north of us on Friday, and they're going to have a higher threat for severe storms just to our north on Friday. So up towards Indianapolis, up towards Chicago. The SPC has already highlighted a slight risk area for northern Illinois, northern Indiana, down into Missouri on Friday, okay? That front will slowly slide south Friday night and into Saturday morning. Now, it's going to lose its steam, if you will, as it moves in on Saturday, which would also mean that the severe weather threat here would be lower on Saturday. The timing right now really looks good when it comes to limiting that severe weather. Now, if the front moves in faster, that could be a different story. But right now, the timing of the front when it arrives, that should help to limit the severe threat on Saturday. But again, the front loses its steam as it gets here. That kind of means the front hangs out nearby. Notice how it kind of has that east to west orientation. So that means we have some showers around as we go through Saturday, showers and storms. Could a few storms be strong on Saturday? Yes. Does it look like a huge severe weather threat? Not quite. I still think Saturday is the wettest day of Easter weekend. Having said that, with that front kind of stalling out nearby, there could still be a boundary left behind on Easter Sunday right over us, to where if we get some instability in here, we're going to have to watch for maybe a few isolated storms developing on Easter Sunday. But I still think there will be a good bit of dry time for the holiday itself. So don't cancel your Easter egg hunts or your Easter potato hunts, since we live in a crazy world and egg prices are crazy right now. But whatever outdoor plans you have on Easter Sunday, don't cancel them yet. I'm optimistic right now we'll have a decent bit of dry time, but there may be some isolated storms we have to dodge from time to time on Sunday. The higher rain chances at this point are definitely on Saturday, the day before. So right now, I'll go with a 20% chance for a few showers, maybe one or two storms Easter Sunday. Otherwise, it's a very seasonable day for, I guess that would be late April, 72 next Sunday. So that's kind of where things stand over the next 10 days. And there is the 10-day. Tuesday, I will also mention, once that front moves out tomorrow night, it will be cooler and it will be breezy on Tuesday, a brisk westerly wind. So we got a high of 60, but a lot of you stay in the 50s on Tuesday, and we'll have those wind gusts over 30 miles an hour. So it'll be kind of a raw day on Tuesday, to be honest with you. Better on Wednesday. Thursday looks pretty good. Maybe a stray shower, not a big deal. Friday, same story, but much, much warmer with a high near 80. Windy again on Friday too. And then you notice that weather pattern becomes unsettled, not only for Easter weekend, specifically Easter Saturday, but the following week. When you look at it from a big picture, it almost looks like summer. Not temperature-wise, but just the fact that we've got those daily chances for showers and storms. No huge severe weather threat, but it'll be a bit unsettled as we get towards late April. just in time for all the Derby Festival events, of course, right? All right, more comments, more questions. Happy to answer them. Jacob was finally able to get the first mow of the season done this weekend. What's the next chance for another couple great days of weather? I'd say Wednesday and Thursday. Tuesday is okay. It'll be still kind of damp, but it's going to be cool. Wednesday and Thursday look good. Mid 60s. Oops, I just dropped my notepad. Wednesday and Thursday look good. Small shower chance Thursday, shouldn't be a big deal. So I'd say Wednesday and Thursday are the next good couple of days. Good question, Jacob. Let's see. Hey, Adam's here. Good to see you, my friend. Hope all's well up there in Bloomington. Tim's asking the question that I really want to know. Why does it always seem like when it rains here, it's on weekends? And it's every weekend. I don't know. The Mother Nature and the weather patterns just have a way sometimes of lining up in certain parts of the week. Sometimes it's, I don't know, Tuesdays and Wednesdays when there's rain. Sometimes it's Thursdays and Fridays. But lately, it's been weekends, and we can't shake that pattern, it seems like. We could this weekend, but not next weekend, it appears. Adam's asking about the severe risk for Friday. When I say north, am I talking about southern Indiana, or am I talking more towards Indy? I'm talking more towards Indianapolis for Friday. So the risk for Friday, severe weather, is up towards Indianapolis, Chicago, South Bend, maybe up towards Detroit. And then by Saturday, that severe weather threat here, like in southern Indiana and Kentucky, is lower. Now, the front will be nearby, so we're still going to have maybe the risk for a few strong storms, but it's not quite as potent as what we might see up towards Indianapolis and Chicago on Friday. Good question. Kelly says, do we think Saturday is an alert day? It's possible, especially if the severe weather threat increases. And given that it's a holiday weekend. So it's possible we have to go with an alert day for Saturday, but keep in mind, while the pattern does become more unsettled, it's not necessarily going to be constant rain, and it's not going to be constant storms. So that's going to help limit the flooding potential, which is obviously a very good thing. And again, the severe weather threat for Saturday right now looks low, still worth watching. So no alert day for now, but tune into the rest of the crew this week. That may have to change as we get closer. Kathy says, thanks for the updates. Of course, that's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. I appreciate all 615 of you watching on our streaming platforms tonight. 450 of you watching on X. Interesting. Maybe X is still worthwhile. Let's see. Vacation next week. Do I think the casino will open up in time? We actually ran a story on Caesars today. They don't have a set date to reopen yet. I would imagine they have a lot of cleanup to do. So to be determined on if and when Caesars will reopen there across the Ohio. We'll find out soon, hopefully. Let's see. Allie is building a new house. Congratulations. They're waiting to do the concrete for the driveway. I bet. That's terrible. I visit my parents pretty frequently throughout the week when I'm off, and they've been doing some kind of fiber, digging all the front yards, putting fiber cables in underground and in their neighborhood. And you can imagine that it hasn't been good weather to dig anything the last couple of weeks with all the rain, right? So I get it. Oh boy, Austin, you had to go there, didn't you? Are we done with snow? I'm going to take a risk here, but I feel confident in saying yes. I think we are done with snow for the season. Could I be wrong? Stranger things have happened. We've had sleet on Derby before. But this looks like a rather warm weather pattern that's taking shape heading into the rest of April and early May. So chances of snow are becoming very, very, very slim. Very tiny chance. I'm not sold on any more snow until next cold season. Let's see. Annette is done with the rain. I don't blame you. Adam has a good point. You can head up to French Lick, head up to the casino up there. They haven't had any water issues that I'm aware of. Let's see. Nicole's going to the Louisville Zoo next Tuesday. Love it. Well, unfortunately, that's when the weather pattern becomes a little more unsettled. So next week, there's going to be daily chances for a few showers and storms. Not an all-day rain, not a huge severe weather threat, but it's going to be very summer-like as far as not temperatures. We're not talking about highs in the 90s yet. Let's postpone that as much as humanly possible. But we're talking about just that on-again, off-again chance for showers and storms looks like starting next weekend and going into that following week as well. Let's see. Braden says, I'm a fan of bots, but after this winter, I need a break. So do I. So do I, Braden. I don't think Brian ever wants a break in the snow. I think he wants it to snow in July and August. But I don't mind the break. I do not mind it at all. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap this up tonight, guys? I appreciate you all watching. We'll be on the Old School TV, the Old School newscast tonight at 11. So if you're still awake, we invite you to tune in, get your latest headlines, and I'll have an updated look at the forecast for tomorrow's alert day. And the rest of the gang will be here tomorrow. Brian will be back with the Storm Talk blog in the morning, and we'll go from there. Not a huge severe threat tomorrow, guys. It's not an outbreak, okay? It's not like what happened a couple weeks ago at all. But a few of those storms could pack a little bit of a punch, especially in central Kentucky tomorrow afternoon. So keep an eye on the skies between 2 and 8 p.m. on Monday, and make sure you have the Wave Weather app set to get those severe thunderstorm warnings. So I have a feeling we'll have a few of them tomorrow afternoon. All right, that's it for now, guys. Appreciate you as always. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great week ahead. And again, keep an eye on the skies tomorrow. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you on TV at 11. The rest of the crew will see you tomorrow. Take care.